Okay. Um, I'm gonna do a vlog. Um, and this vlog is called "Don't Let Them Steal Your Soul." And basically, what that is, I don't know what came up with that name, but whatever. But it's going to be about people being bi or lesbian or whatever you want to call them. And some people are scared of it or don't understand it or disown it, whatever. And I'm going to just put my thoughts in it. And I have some other people's thoughts on it too, so. Okay, let me start off saying that it might. Sorry, I'm scooching up a little bit. Anyway, it might seem strange to dedicate yourself to something that others always make out to be wrong or negative, but it's so important to just ignore it, and don't be afraid of who you are, and embrace whatever you are, whether it be straight, bi, gay, or you fall in love with somebody else's personality. Now that one, I forget what they called it because it's a really long word, and I'm not a very good speller or pronouncer of big words, so I can't pronounce this. But anyways, basically it is where you don't like a person for their for their gender, sorry, but you fall in love with them, whether they're girl, guy, whatever, based on the personality. I never knew that was a such thing, but we learn something every day. Anyways, don't be afraid of being who you are, because isn't love is basically is what we want. How can I word this? Isn't love what we like generally want from someone, especially if it's somebody we love, like if we're seen that way. So that being said, if you love the person you're with, whether it's a guy, girl, girl, or you like both, whatever, personality, as long as you care about each other and you're happy, right? Well, then who cares? And yeah, some spout out hateful things about things that they don't understand, or because they don't see it as being as the reason. But love has no reason at the end of the day. We are who we are at the end of the day. And they may make it out to be something wrong, but the only truth is love. And the only sin is denying love. So stop hating on something because you don't understand it or it scares you. Just because that's not how you are or your life is, don't mean that's everybody else is wrong. And that's not just in being this topic, but that goes with anything and everything in the world. Just because you don't like it, don't make it wrong. If it don't affect you at the end of the day, why should you care? So instead of being hateful, scared, whatever it may be, why don't you just start loving? And loving them for who they are. And you know what I mean? It takes a lot of strength to own up to be these, because people do disown it and people do make it seem as like it's wrong. It really isn't wrong. God wants us to love. He never said who to love. Is that right? So who's it to us to say who they can love or not love or make it right or wrong? And I'm not saying it's wrong because I don't think it's wrong. But for argument sakes, if it was wrong, so what? Are you the one going to pay for it later whenever you die? No, they are. So let them be. Simple as that.
she's back in the atmosphere with drops. Now that she's back in the atmosphere with drops. Now that she's back in the atmosphere with drops.
Okay, this next segment is going to be on my social media and stuff. Before I do, like a week before doing my vlogs, I put up what my vlogs are going to be about, and I ask for their opinion. Well, usually I get only opinions. This time I got a like full-on conversation. Never had this before, so I screenshotted all of it. I hope I got all of it anyway. So I'm going to read it off from from beginning to end, from what the people say to what I add on to it, etc., etc. Anyways, this is on Meet Me, so of course, as I say, I always put up what my vlog's about, which is don't let them steal your soul, and it's about being gay or bi and being okay with it, and blah blah. Well, Himmler, I think that's how you say it, Himler. He says homosexual is a plague that needs eliminated. Well, that's negative to me, but I'm not gonna say, oh, well, whatever, be negative about it. All I said is, and why, dang it, stupid thing turned off. I said, why do you think this? Does it hurt or affect your life? He said, every spoiled American uses this as a justification to normalize sexual Degeracy. See, I told you I'm not very good at pronouncing big words. It affects society as sexually, it's been bent and women over. Sexualized, we see a numerous to sexual crimes and rape culture, the pedophilia, and the destruction of the traditional family. Why do you have to be so smart wording words? Like, I'm kind of dumb it down a little bit. Anyways, I said, what is there to justify? Oops, thing. And why do, wait, okay, wait, hold on, oops, okay. What is there to justify if someone is in love the person who they're with? How does that affect you and on the people who rape a girl or guy because they're gay? Wait, hold on. Am I right? Girl or guy? Because they're gay isn't the gay person's fault. Oh, okay, that's basically me saying, like, if somebody's like, say I'm gay, and I'm gay because somebody raped me when I was a child, how's that my fault? That's not my fault. That's the rapist's fault, right? Anyway, since we clear that out, isn't the gay person's, okay, that's the people who think it's wrong because they're closed-minded or can't understand it or is scared of it. Ain't no room for judging unless you are God, and no one on this earth is that, which I stand for. If somebody wants to be gay or wants to be bi, straight, whatever, that's their choice. That's not yours, and you shouldn't judge them. You ain't God. You ain't perfect. There's a lot of things people would judge you for, so why would you judge? Like, that's not right. Then Martin comes in and says, as a veteran, the most important thing to me is that everyone should have freedom to choose. Agree. What makes them happy? Agree. Should being a gay be discriminated against? Should fat people, maybe white people? I'm not gay, it's not my place. Exactly. If you ain't gay, you ain't black, you ain't white, you ain't this, you ain't that, who are you to judge them for that? Agree. And I said exactly. And even if you was, it's still not your place unless it is your life that you are judging. Exactly. If it's your life, judge you. They ain't in your life. They ain't affecting your life. So don't judge them for what they do. The only time you should say something to them is if they're hurting themselves or others. Being gay or whatever ain't hurting nobody. It ain't killing you. Ain't putting a knife in you, is it? No. It ain't killing you. No. So stop judging. Oh, crap. I hate when my phone just turns off like that. Okay, and then he goes to same person, Martin, to tell others what they have to do. God loves me and forgives me for my sin through Jesus, the perfect sacrifice. By accepting this gift, I am to be understanding and compromise, however you say it, compromise of others and accept them. Truth. That doesn't mean I have to agree with their choices exactly, but you do not judge for them, or to join in that I'm not perfect either. So I have to something to talk. Oh, you have no room to talk. So can be straight and still love gay people without necessarily agreeing with their choices? And I say yes. Even if you don't agree with somebody's life choice about being gay or bi or whatever it is, or them being on this or on drugs or this or whatever it is, or them being the color they are, no, you don't have to agree with it. But you as a human being, and I say this because most Christians say they're Christians but they don't act Christian. If you judge somebody for this, you ain't being Christianly person, whatever how you want to say that. You're not being Christian. Plain point simple. The Himmler said, so stand by and watch all you, that's a bad word, I'm not going to say that, gay, I'm going to say gay, and search for washed away my culture marxism. I have no idea what you're trying to say. These are too big of words. And then Martin says, you stand against what I stand for, equality and love. What's GALATIANS? Oh, it must be like a verse on in the Bible or something. For if you are trying to make yourself right with God by keeping the law, you have been cut off from Christ. You have fallen away from God, grace. So, whenever you speak or whatever you do, remember that you will be judged by the law of love, the law that sets you free. For there will be no mercy for you if you have not been miracleful to others. But if you have been miracleful, then God's mercy towards you will win out over this judgment against you. Try to criticize your heart, not your, I'm guessing it's supposed to be a guy's dick because it's an emoji, but it's a fruit. I forget what it's called. I don't know what it's called. Anyways, you seem very hateful and you profess to be a Christian. Or profess to be a Christian. I have more respect for a person who can admit they're gay than one who doesn't even understand that they're professing to be. I agree with that. It takes a lot of guts for nowadays the way people are towards other people and hateful and whatever. It takes a lot of guts to stand up and say, yeah, I'm this or I'm that, or yeah, I've done this or I've done that, but I'm a better person, or whatever it should be. And he said, Himmler said, came with your guns loaded that time. Not only is homosexuality shunned by Christianity and strictly forbidden in the Bible, but almost every major religion there is. For the reason I've listed above, you don't get to pick and and choose what part you agree with. God warned men not to allow beasts in our society by lying with our women. Yet you defined race mixing as well. I'm sure you're communicating scum, and W1 and 2 vets would spit on you. I don't even know what that is, but that is very negative. You're looking at one side only. You're not looking at both sides. And no, the Bible does not say about it necessarily. I think people misinterpret it. We'll get to that later because I made a good point later on this conversation. Anyways, Martin says, I know someone else that people hated for loving others and was spit on. They also hung him on the cross. So I care less of the twisted ideals of men and I do what the Lord says. Amen, because me too. God would have, I'm not going to say that because it's going to say what I said later on. But I do agree with that. I do. It's not our place to judge anyway, even if it was interpreted right. Himmler says the only idea you expose are those that of Jewish communities, not Christianities. No, Christianity and like Jewish and all this stuff is like a people stamp on to label you. Christianity is just the spiritual faith in God and what's we're supposed to do as Christians. Now, Martin says, coming from a parasite, I guess this is parasite, anything said against my belief is only encouraging the fact that I'm right. Amen. Hamler says, so I'm also right by the folicky, I don't know. He said, Martin said to that was, let's go stone some whores and gays together. That's what Jesus wanted, huh? Can you feel the love? Oh, I wasn't stoning them. I was sharing my rock collection with them. Your logic is not logical, which is true because wasn't God stoned for loving somebody? Wasn't it God who was stoned and hung up on the cross because he stood up for the Jews and for lower class people and all this, and they didn't agree with it? So ain't you being just as bad as those other people who stoned God for all this stuff? At the end of the day, love is the number one thing. Hating gets you nowhere. Hating is like throwing a stone at somebody. Loving somebody is accepting them for exactly what they are, exactly who they are, exactly what they do. Now, granted, just because you accept somebody don't mean you can't tell them, hey, doing drugs is bad. Don't do that. Or I care about you, so tough love. I'm going to show you tough love type of thing. But you don't throw a stone at them. And in this logic, I mean hateful words and disowning them or telling them they're wrong. Because it's not. And it's not your place even if it was. Alright, let's continue. Hamlet says, so I'm so right by... Oh, wait, I already did that. Clear against her. Oh, okay. He said, don't know if you... Or Martin said, don't know if you understand it, but it's clearly against your mindset. Says your opinion is flawed. Which, Hamler... or anybody who's like him, your opinion is flawed. Because to be not flawed, you would accept them for who they are. You wouldn't down them, make them feel like they're less of a person, because they're not. They're not less of a person because they do something bad. They're not less of a person because they're gay or bi or they're on drugs or whatever. You don't know their story. You don't know what brought them to do that. Now, I'm not saying being gay and bi is the same category as being on drugs. Because it's not. Drugs harms you and harms people around you. Being gay and all that is not harming anybody. It ain't harming you or your life. It ain't harming themselves. The only thing it's harming is the way you think or worry about what other people think. So, like, say I'm gay. And you're my friend and you don't know I'm gay. And we're like best friends, whatever. Then all of a sudden, I step up and I say, hey, I like girls, or I like both, or whatever it may be. Then, because you're worried about whatever everybody else thinks, and what it makes you look like to be my friend, or a gay person's friend, or bi person's friend. That's the only thing it's hurting is your ego. Let down that ego, and stop throwing stones, because it ain't hurting you. It ain't hurting them at the end of the day. And that's what you got to remember. I know I said that like 1,000 times, but I want you to understand the concept. Okay. Martin says, oh, I already said that one. Okay, that however you say his name, Himmler says, dude, you're a communist. I don't even know what that is. But anyway, gays and harlots need eliminated. Obviously, I'm for the good of the people. Just go watch your porn run by Jews, watch TV run by Jews, watch the news run by Jews, and surf the web run by Jews. All this stuff is not run by Jews. Like, where do you come off like you know everything? And gays don't need eliminated. Harlots, I'm guessing that's like a slaughter or a whore or somebody sleeps around. Although they're not good. What they do is not good. Why should they be eliminated? It's like me telling this dude he should be eliminated because of the way he thinks. Or if I had some dirty stuff on him, which I don't, but I'm just saying, or whatever it is that, because nobody's perfect, whatever is going on in his life, he should be eliminated. It's not your place to say. Then Martin said, because God hates Jews? Oh, wait, actually, they were his chosen people. Duh. I pray through Jesus that your demons will be struck from you, and you will fall and cry with understanding as soul-felt revelation that your hate and persecution is wrong, and being freed from the bondage of hate. I pray that you will be understanding and be guided by the Lord, understanding love, compassion, forgiveness, and humanity. Or how do you say that? Humanity. I love you and really hope you will be able to grow and understand. That very last part, I emphasize. Forgiveness, compassion, and humanity needs to be emphasized. That's what's missing in the world today. And that's what makes up love. People rather hate than love because it's easier to hate than love. It's easier to deny something you don't understand or like because everybody else don't like it. How about be strong and be yourself and let love be in? It might be easier to hate, but as a person, it makes you a better person to stand up and be strong, even though it's hard. And I said to this because I haven't been on. I'm not on Me that often, so finally I did get on it. I said no human being should be eliminated unless they are doing something that harms other people's life, and in no way is being gay harming you or anyone else. I don't know this guy because I accidentally cut it off, but somebody else, other than the two I already mentioned, says, I'm not gay, but I think LGBT people should be free to do their thing, including getting married if they so choose. Besides, marriage is an establishment of religion, and as such, the First Amendment perhaps prohibits regulations it. At the same time, if say a Christian baker doesn't want to serve LGBT people, they have the right to make that choice as well, and shouldn't be sued for it. I'd sell them baked goods made myself if I had such a place, but just saying people should be free to decide who they want to do business with. Yes, but at the same time, isn't it you making that decision, you judging them for it? And in the Bible, isn't judging bad? Like I said, God made a free will. Everybody chooses. But some people choose the wrong thing because of them being afraid or not understanding. Martin says, I would likewise bake a cake for them. If a Christian baker wouldn't serve a person because they're LGBT, then they aren't really Christian. Jesus wouldn't throw in some free cupcakes too. Exactly. God loved us all. God does love us all, no matter what we do. And as a parent, he might really not like what you're doing, but he's not going to love you any less. And that's a real parent. I said God loves everyone as they are. He died for our right to pick what we want. And love, some people make wrong decisions, but he forgives as long as you don't keep doing it. And being gay or bi isn't a crime. Some are because they was abused, some are gay, bi, whatever it is they are, because they was abused as a kid or whatever. So why wouldn't God understand that and some are just born that way. So why would God let you be born that way if He wouldn't have been okay with it? Pretty good questions, huh? That's the things that run through my mind. Martin says God is understanding and forgiving. I think He will take a lot of things into account. Sometimes it's the hardest thing in the world to forgive someone. It so is. But do it for you. I have a lot of people in my life that I forgave for my own, what's that called if you go crazy? My own mental, whatever. You know the word. Anyway, he also says, I'm already understanding of God's love and Jesus' sacrifice too, since I am so blessed with forgiveness. I can't help but to forgive others for what they do to me. And then, okay, the third guy that is called Chris No Guys. He said, right on, girl. This world needs more people, good people like you in it. Which means he was saying that to me. Amen, boot. Anyways, and then I said, Martin, same here. And usually I forgive not for them, but for myself. So I don't turn hateful. Exactly. If you... Great, I'm not going to tell you what happened, but I've been through a lot growing up. My real mom. Most would say, oh, I don't forgive her. Well, I forgive her. And I don't forgive her for what she did or anything like that, but I forgive her in sense because that's helping me at the end. It's helping me be a better person. I learned from what she did to me, what not to do, and how to treat others, etc., etc. And by me forgiving her, the hate inside of my heart, I mean, it's still there sometimes, and mostly it makes me upset, like sad, and I wish that I was dead kind of thing. And I think I may have a little resentment, just a little. But anybody would. But in all, me being able to forgive her, it helped me be a better person. It helped me not go crazy. Because I probably would have. Or I probably would have turned out a very bad person like she was. And I'm so glad I'm not. Well, that was the end of that. Nobody else said anything or anything like that. So I hope my words and their words help you out.